My father, Andre Gaspard, and his best friend, May Roussoub, left Lebanon in a few years after the war. I think maybe a year after the war. She was actually injured. She had lost an eye and needed more work, more further operations in France. So they went to France, and at the time it was very easy for them to get visas, for the Lebanese to get visas to go to France. She eventually settled in the UK, and he was traveling in Latin America, and they were socialists, they were Marxists, they were Trotskyists, actually. At the time, they sort of mellowed after a few years. And they spoke on the phone, and she said, I was thinking, why don't we open an Arabic language bookshop in London? There aren't any. And so he moved to London to meet her, and they opened the bookshop in 1978 or 9. And initially, they only opened a small Arabic language department. And then a few years later, they opened an English language department. And that's really how it was set up. It was quite an exciting time because Dr. Makia, who was a really important Iraqi architect, actually owned the building whose space we still occupy on the ground floor. But soon my father and Mai became frustrated, because they wanted to publish not enough works by leading scholars or great literary works were available in English. And so they took the decision to publish them themselves. And that's when Saqi Publishing was launched in 1983. And over the 80s, we published great thinkers and intellectuals and writers from the Arab world. All our book launches for several decades were held at the Kufa Gallery, and it would be an incredible meeting space, and people from all walks would gather and share ideas. And it was just, because obviously I grew up here, and I grew up with Saqi. Saqi's my home. Saqi's much more than just a business to me. It symbolizes so much more than that. Firstly, I literally grew up in Saqi as a child. After school, the minibus would drop me off the bookshop. It was just a really exciting time. And the bookshop was thriving. It just felt like there was a sort of boom. And then at the end of the 80s, early 90s, the civil war in Lebanon was coming to an end, and we opened an office in Beirut. And that's very exciting. So we opened Dar al-Saqi in 1991, around that time. And today they're one of the leading publishing houses in the Arab world.